everyone, and welcome to our spiritual discussion for tonight, the fear of peace and looking within. So remember, for our spiritual discussion, it is all about us discussing. So remember, discussion is between two people. So yes, I'll be talking. Yes, I'll be, putting out different points. But if any time during I'm putting out those points or there's something that I say that brings up a question for you, then please feel free to ask it. Because if you don't ask it, I can't really answer it. So that's always my invitation when it comes to these spiritual discussions is always ask your question. If something comes up for you about the spiritual discussion that we are currently having, then that's when you have that opportunity to answer or to really get that question answered. So I'm going to go ahead and share this out, and I invite you guys to do the same. And as I'm sharing it out, I will, of course, be keeping you all entertained as we continue to do this. And I want to say a hello to Miss Marilyn Pisano. Hey, Debbie, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Hi, Karen. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. So, like I said, I am just beginning to share this out. And as I begin to share this out, I have a question for all of you that will kind of start our spiritual discussion. And the question that I have is, what do you think peace is? How do you define peace? That's my question to all of you is, how do you define peace? And so just think about it and then go ahead and type your definition of peace in the comments. And that way you can see what your definition is, and you can also see how that attributes to everyone else's. So that is my invitation for all of you. First off is, of course, to just write that out. What is your definition of peace? As I just share this out to my different groups, and you guys, of course, can do the same if you wish. Hi, Stacy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. All right, we're just continuing to share this out. All right, so let's see, which the other one I'm going to send it to. Oh, yes, this one. All right, we'll send it here. Wonderful. Marilyn, that is a beautiful definition of peace. When I have no resistant thoughts and connect with source and balance. Beautiful. I think that is a beautiful way to look at peace, is a way of there's no resistance. Absolutely beautiful. Now, there's another way of looking at peace, which is basically the same thing. And the definition of peace, according to the dictionary, is basically a place of no disturbance. Like there's no disturbance within you. And that's what's really beautiful about peace. But you're going to be surprised about why you actually fear that moment coming. Because we fear it more than you may think. And oops, goodness. See, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. Where was I going to send this? There it is. Okay. So, there's actually 3 big reasons why we fear peace above everything else, and why we really come into that. Hi, Deanne. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. Like I said, I'm just sharing this out to my groups. I'm just going to share it to one more, and then we're going to get started. Where is it? There it is. Thank you, Miss Theodora. Thank you for joining, for liking, for being here. I appreciate it. All right, and we have, thank you, Nora, for liking or loving the video. I can't see what you did, but I appreciate everyone who is liking, sharing, and commenting. It always helps. I appreciate every little bit. So I'm just going to do to one more group here. And then we are going to start. So for tonight, like I said, we're talking all about peace and what peace, why we actually fear peace. And, that may be a surprise to you, is fearing peace. That doesn't make any sense. Why would I fear something that I want? I want a life free of disturbances. I want a life that's joyful. I want a life that's happy. I want all of those things. So why would I possibly fear it? And like I said, there are actually 3 big reasons why we fear peace. And so before I, start just naming them and going over them, do you guys have any ideas of why it is that we might fear peace? And remember, peace is nothing more than freedom from disturbances. So why might we fear peace? Why, oh goodness, if I could speak English, right? So why might we fear that? Why might we fear a life free of disturbances? Why do you think that? And if there aren't any answers, that's okay. That's what I'm here to provide you with. But I would just like to see what you guys think about why we fear peace. And then we can continue our discussion from there. And of course, just write it in the comments. Now, unfortunately, I will be looking on my laptop for your comments because the page is not showing me them, because we have been accustomed to chaos and drama. That is definitely number 1, and I am doing wonderful, Helena. Thank you so much, Helene. Oh, goodness, I know I said your name wrong, and I apologize, but I am doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. It's unfamiliar. Very true, Deanne. Very true. It is unfamiliar. And Marilyn said because we have been accustomed to drama. Very true. Stacy said, I feel some folks may equate peace with boredom. Ooh, that's a good one too. You guys are hitting all of these beautiful points. A feeling of loneliness and boredom. Beautiful, Karen. Yes, you guys are hitting on the nose. A lot of these wonderful factors that definitely go into the fear of peace. And one of the biggest ones that I really do want to cover right now, because it's been said in both of the comments right now, which is this, so it's all about that being left out and boredom. And that's actually what I really want to speak to, is that a lot of us feel that peace is like boring. Oh, peace. Because we think that peace is this thing where you get to sit and basically now you're perfect. You sit in a chair. I don't know if any of you ever read, it's a very old book, and I'm pretty sure I read it in like maybe 1st or 2nd grade, and I can't remember the name of it, but I remember this so clearly in my mind. They were talking about how this kid was like trying to be perfect, and he finally like got into the perfect club, and he sat down, and he was in a big movie theater, and he had like this thing of tea, and all he could do was like sip tea all day. Like that was it. He couldn't move from that spot. And I remember thinking, oh my God, that's peace? No, I don't want any of that. But that's not what peace is. That is our biggest misconception about peace, is that it's boring, that there's nothing to do. And peace doesn't mean that there's nothing to do. Peace means you get to follow your divine guidance. Peace means that you get to do what feels peaceful and compelling to you. Peace means that you are free of the disturbances of the world, that something may come up at you, and instead of reacting to it, you have the ability in that moment to respond to it. And how beautiful is that? Hi, and thanks for joining. So that's what we have to first dispel. Peace does not mean you sit in a chair all day and you meditate all day. That's not what peace is. Peace means that you have the ability to follow your divine guidance, and you're not going to be disturbed by the things of the world or the things that are around you, because you are going to be in such a deep state of, you can call it communion, you can call it connection with Source. that you are just going to revel in it. And you're not gonna want to leave it because it's such a beautiful feeling. I have had moments of peace where it just feels like the whole universe is just saying yes to me, and I'm just like, and it just feels like I can breathe, and like my shoulders relax and my whole body just relaxes, and I just want to sink into that, and I'm just happy. I'm happy, I'm joyful, and I'm just it's just a wonderful day. I'm still doing things that are in front of me to do, but I'm not letting anything really disturb me from what I'm doing. I'm just allowing it to continue to go. So we have to let go of the idea that peace means boredom. And that brings us to our second point, which Marilyn brought up. We're so used to chaos. We are so used to, you have moments of peace and you have moments of chaos. But we don't have to have that. That's the thing. Hi, Jenna. Thanks for joining. So we don't have to have that. We can choose instead a different experience. Now, yes, right now, as we are learning this, are we going to have peaks of like peace and be like, oh my God, everything's great? And then are we going to have those deeper valleys? Yes, but it's only because we are learning. Right now, there's going to be a point where you do not see the difference between a peak and a valley. Your peace is so steady. But see, we've become so accustomed to believing that if we don't have chaos in our lives, then that means, that we're dead. And that's not what it means. You don't have to have a chaotic life. Life doesn't have to be chaotic. Now, through our experience, we've seen that, like I said, life has those highs and life has those lows, but it doesn't have to be that way. It's the story that we've told ourselves for years about how that's the only way life can be, that peace lasts for like a hot minute and then it's gone. Or, happiness lasts a hot minute and then it's gone. You're on top of the world 1 minute and then it's gone. But the only reason that we believe that is because we do not believe in consistent happiness. We don't believe in consistent peace. We believe that we have to have these high highs and these low lows. Hi, Lisa. And we do not have to have those. That is our choice. That's based on our story. Hi, Denise. And instead of going into that whole craziness, let's instead come up with a new story. A good majority of the time, if you notice when things are peaceful, things are working, a good majority of the time, it's like this anxiety begins to build up in you because you're already anticipating, expecting for the shoe to drop. You're already saying, well, things are good, but they can't be good forever. They can't be peaceful forever. And the only reason that it can't be is because, once again, you don't believe that it can. And number two, you're already anticipating, which means you're already in the process of making a situation in which your exact thought, the other shoe dropping, happens. And then you start riding that roller coaster again. But it only comes because that is your anticipation. You are making a situation in which that's going to happen with your own thoughts, even though they may not be conscious thoughts. That anxiety, that worry, it's there. And it's mulling in your mind. You might be like, oh my God, things are so great right now. Like, I'm loving my life. I'm loving things. But somewhere in the back of your mind, there's that anxiety. There's that stress that's talking to you. And it's saying, hi, Farah. It's saying to you, hey, I'm here. Just to let you know, the other shoe's about to drop, because that's the story that we've told ourselves. But why is it that we have to continue that story? We do not have to. Hi, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. We do not have to do that. That's our choice. We make that decision. And we make that decision by focusing on those thoughts. Because my question I want to ask everyone is, where do you think disturbances come from? Do you think disturbances come from out here? Or do you think they come from in here? Where do you think the disturbance comes from? Because remember, peace means freedom from disturbances. So where do you think the disturbance is really coming from? Is it coming from out here in the world? Or is it coming from in here in your mind? And just go ahead and type your response into the comments. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but we have to begin to really say, this is where I believe my disturbances are coming from. So let's go ahead and see where you guys believe your disturbances are coming from. Remember, this is a spiritual discussion, and that means, yes, I'm talking, yes, I'm doing stuff, but also you guys get to participate. That's the beauty of a spiritual discussion. So that's wonderful. Internal, yes, that is definitely. Physical pain is a disturbance. The only time I experience moments of peace is when I'm not in pain. Those moments are glorious and rare. So that's from Karen. And then Helene says both. Okay. So we have internal, we have we'll call Karen's internal as well. And then Helena, and I'm so sorry I'm saying your name wrong, I do deeply apologize, is saying both. Jenna is saying in your head. So beautiful, beautiful. From within, beautiful. I love that we're getting all of these responses, guys. Keep them coming. My disturbances come from when I allow my vibration to go down and get into the negative emotions. Beautiful, Marilyn. I'm loving seeing where you guys are, or where you think it's coming from. A boat doesn't sink because there's water outside of it. It sinks because there's water inside of it. Same aspect. Yes, it really is. That is the same aspect. So here is what we do have to realize, that a good majority of what we experience as disturbance does come from us and our perception of things. Now, when it does come to things like, excuse me, what we can talk about is we have to realize that when we have these bouts of disturbance, we realize where they're coming from first. So they're coming from internally, because it is, remember, our thoughts make the reality that we see. If there is something within our reality that is disturbing us, it is an invitation to look at it. And not only a disturbance to look at it, and not only an invitation to look at it, but then to decide, do I want to continue this? LOL, that's okay. Both, as in everything internal, external. We can only control ourselves, but the environment plays a role. It's easy to keep the stuff from getting inside of us. And well, when we are, hi Heather, when we are in that state of, what could we call it? When a disturbance is presenting itself to you, it is your invitation, like I said, to look at it and say, okay, why is this disturbing me? In what way is this disturbing me? And am I going to allow it to continue to disturb me? Am I going to give this situation power? And that's what we have to look at, because when we are in that deep sense of rapport, in that deep sense of peace with the divine, that's where we have to look. Right then, right there, that's where we look. We don't look and say, oh, it's this or it's that. We look first within and we say, okay. But you may, once again, if you saw the whole title of the video, it's the fear of peace and looking within. So why do you think that we actually fear looking within? Why do you think we fear looking at those thoughts? So once again, type your answers in the comments. I'd love to see why it is that you feel that there may be a fear of looking within yourself when the disturbance happens, when you are disturbed. Esther Hicks Abraham says, it's not my problem, not that you don't care, just don't absorb the situation. Exactly, it's being the observer in the situation. So that's a beautiful way of putting it. It's just saying, this is it. Okay, I see the situation as it is. Am I going to give it my power? Am I going to give it my focus? Am I going to give it my peace? You can really consider peace like an exchange. So you're saying, okay, well, I'm going to give you my peace, and in turn, you're going to give me the drama. So is that really a fair exchange? No, not in my book. I much rather keep the peace than go with the drama. Oh, I'm sorry, Katie. We're not doing readings. This is a spiritual discussion. So you're more than welcome to stay and continue to discuss with us. Or, yeah, but we're not doing any readings tonight, unfortunately. So Heather says, yes. Frightened of confrontation, yes. No energy vampires, yeah. So, frightened is a really good one. A lot of us are actually scared to confront our own thoughts. Now, the reason that we're actually afraid to confront a lot of our own thoughts and our own feelings is because just one simple truth. It's because we fear that darkness will swallow us. We fear that it is too deep, it is too dark, it is too much, it is too powerful for us to look at. But if we actually looked at it, you would see the power that you have. I remember another talk like this you had and loved it. Wonderful. So that is what we have to do. We have to look at it. We only fear looking within because we fear that we can't handle it. Because we fear it's really about you thinking that you have to do it alone. And you're not alone in doing it. When you look at those thoughts, I know you feel that you're alone. But that is when you can call it spirit, you can call it guides, you can call it angels, you can call it ascended masters, you can call it your ancestors, you can call it the divine force, you can call it divine compassion, you can call it divine wisdom, you can call it divine truth. Whatever it is you want to call it, you can. But that's when that force is with you the strongest, because you are questioning. We do not question enough. We don't question those beliefs. We don't question those fearful thoughts. We instead just give our power over to them. And that's what we have to stop doing, is giving our power over to them. I was reminded, if you speak your truth in every situation. Yeah, speaking, just being truthful, being authentic in the situation. Yeah, this scares me. Yeah, I am terrified. But I want to look at why I'm terrified. Because a good majority of the time, guess why you're really terrified? You're really terrified simply because it's from the past. Or it's because of a future thing. Yes, we have the Holy Spirit. Exactly, we do. And you can call that by whatever name you like. If Holy Spirit doesn't sound like good to you, or you're just kind of like, that's a little too religious, you don't have to use that term. Like I said, you can call it guides, angels, whatever you want. I use the term Holy Spirit because that's what's comfortable for me. And so, that's when the Holy Spirit or Spirit is with us the most, and it's asking us, look at this. Like, where is it coming from? Is it happening right here in the present moment? Or are you pulling a situation from the past into the present? Or are you putting the present into the future? But if you don't look, then how will you ever know? If you don't look, how will you ever see? Really screwed us up. Unlearning. Yes, I have heard that we need to accept all parts of ourselves and do not judge. I don't like to look at shame aspects of myself, had a difficult past. It is really just about us looking at it, but not from, and it's like what Marilyn said, it's about looking at it from that observer point of view and saying, you know what? That was me. Those situations did happen to me. It's not about invalidating it. It's about saying, yes, this is what happened, but that is no longer me. I can take the blessings and I leave the story. I take the blessings and I leave the story. I accept, yes, this is what happened. These are the beautiful lessons that I got to take from it. Maybe it was strength, maybe it was harmony, maybe it was, something else. But we take that blessing and we leave the rest. We must be willing to look at that past or look into that scary future that you think is going to happen and realize it's not happening now. See, all too often we let things happen now. And actually, what I would invite you to do, instead of trying, Because what trying actually does in your mind, it still gives that ego a little bit of wiggle room to kind of be like, well, I'm trying to do it. And it almost gives you that excuse. We don't want any more excuses. What we can say is, instead of I'm trying, I'm doing it. I'm overcoming it. It's happening right now. And I am taking small steps every day to do so. So let's put it into that, yes, doing. Let's put it into that present moment. Not past, not future, but now. And that's where we always want to be. And that's also what happens when it comes with peace. We actually fear the moment. And I know that probably sounds so weird to so many people, like, I'm in the moment right now. But are you? Are you present? Can you tell me 100% that you are right here, right now, that there is no past thought and there is no future thought about, like, maybe what you have to do or what you did earlier today? We fear being 100% present and giving our attention to something because we fear missing out on something. There's that, FOMO, the fear of missing out. Well, we need to let go of the fear of missing out. Because we're not missing anything in the past. We're not missing anything in the future. If we're present, we're going to see everything. We will see absolutely everything as it is presented to us. And we're actually going to see it through a perceptual filter, which is love. Beautiful. Yes, doing it. And I love that you put it in all caps. So that tells me I am doing it. You are screaming it to the world. It is a declaration. Congratulations on taking those small steps every day. I am so proud of you, because as you do this healing, what you don't realize, you're actually healing the whole of humanity. Each and every one of you that's here and is participating in whatever way, shape, or form, you're healing the whole of humanity. If you even take one thing that I've said and you apply it to your life on a daily basis, you are starting the healing of all of humanity. You are starting the healing of the mind. You are starting to see that I want to be peaceful. I want to be present. And I don't want to be afraid of looking at these thoughts or these fears that arise. I want to look at them so they no longer plague me, so that I can move into more happiness, so I can move into more peace. I love that you taught in the Course in Miracles, we are actually reacting to the past. Yes, in my ACIM support group, that is something that we talked about from one of our lessons. I want to say lesson 7. I'm only seeing the past, I think. I don't know. I can't remember the lesson. But yeah, on my ACIM support group, that's something that we covered. But, we have to really realize that we're afraid of peace because we're afraid that it's going to be boring. We're afraid that it's going to make us somehow lonely. I know that to be true. We are all healing each other. Yes, exactly, we are. And so what we have to remember here is that peace is not boring. We need to wipe that from our minds. Peace is not boring. Peace is what I long for. Because if you look at life, that's what you long for. That's all you really want, is you want peace. You want happiness, and you want it to stay. So we have to let those thoughts in the back of our head, that anxiety when it begins to build up, and say, oh my gosh, things are actually working out and my life is working and everything's okay, and I can relax. I don't have to be running around because everything is okay. Everything is all right. And if something does happen, I don't have to necessarily let it disturb my peace. I can look at it. I can recognize it, and I can see it for what it is. I can see it for what it is, which is a projection from either the past or the future. That's all that it is. It's either our projection of the past or our projection of the future. And we must be willing to be like, okay, that's what that is. I forgive myself and I'm willing to come back into the present moment. You come back into the present moment simply by doing what's in front of you to do, naming 5 things that are in front of you. That's how you come back to the present. We are afraid that we are truly love and accepting ourselves. We've been in the trap for so long, loving ourselves We've been in the trap for so long that loving ourselves is from, okay, yes. So when we have been in this, constant cycle, for so long that we just don't realize that, wow, I'm the one who's putting myself through all of this craziness. Hi, everyone who's just joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. And that's what we have to look at. And I used to be addicted to drama, I think. So I gotta give myself credit for changing the aspect of myself. Exactly. We've all been addicted to drama in one way, shape, form, or another. And the only reason that we've been addicted to drama is because we didn't know any better. We were willing to give our peace over to the situation instead of saying, you know what, I'd like to keep my peace and I'd like to let go of that drama. Thank you so much. And I actually have a beautiful story for you guys about that exact thing. So for those of you that don't know, I have been on this fabulous weight loss journey of just, losing some weight. I wanted to lose weight, so that's what I'm doing. And I am using the app called Noom. And so I am down to 199.2 pounds as of today. Yay, me! So that's like, I weighed when I started 215 or 220. I'm now down to 199.2. So I'm real happy with that. So they were actually talking about stress and our Noom articles. You get articles every day. And so this week was all about stress. And I was like, oh my God. This is my time. I can't wait to share, my different tools, my different techniques for dealing with stress, different ways that they can do it on top of the ones that, the course itself or the app itself had already given. So I got all my stuff prepared. I got my YouTube links. And I put those up there. I put up, half of a course that I had put together. And I was like, oh my gosh, these 3 lessons are so perfect for what we're learning. And then all of a sudden, someone in the group had private messaged me and was like, hey, I think this is soliciting. I see that you're really excited and you're really enthusiastic, but we need to stick with the curriculum. And I was like, oh. And of course, immediately I was like, oh man, and I felt bad. I started to feel guilty. I started to feel shameful. But I stopped myself in that moment. And I said, you know what? Let's question this. Let's question it. So I took my deep breath. I questioned it. And then I said, you know what? I forgive myself. I was just really excited and enthusiastic. That was it. And so I took my deep breath. I forgave myself. I forgave the situation. I did not give it my power. I did not give it my peace. I said, no, thank you. I do not want that drama. No. I don't want it. Thank you. And so the next thing that I did was, I did my normal stuff and I just let it go. Said, here's what I'm going to do in the present moment. So I looked at what fear was coming up for me, where that fear was coming from. Was it from the past or was it in the future? I dealt with it. I forgave it. And then as I forgave it, then when I woke up this morning, guess what? I had an apology from that lady saying, you know what? I think I misunderstood, the intention that, you were giving. It seems that everyone was really liking your posts. And, I guess since our group leader or, whatever hasn't said anything, I guess it's okay, my apologies. And I was like, no worries, we got this. It's not a big deal. And it was just so wonderful to have that. So let's see. I got to get this one a little closer. So Cara says, I am a writer and I am addicted to that jolt of caffeine. I fear if I give up caffeine, I won't be creative. Rationally, I know I would focus much better and be better able to connect with spirit if I didn't drink caffeine. But it's been quite a struggle to give it up or even lessen my intake. So yeah, I totally get the fear of peace. The peace would be boring. Now you see why. Because you have that belief. It's that, I need to be active and da-da-da. But you can really connect with spirit much more when you're calm, when you are peaceful. And so what I want to invite you to do is realize, and I know rationally, because you already said rationally, you totally get that the caffeine isn't doing anything for you. But what I want to invite you to do is I want you to look at what past belief told you that you needed that stimulus, and then maybe a positive thing that happened with it, because that thought right there, that belief that the caffeine is giving you the creative focus or the creativity, is coming from a past thought or a past belief that happened it happened in the past. And you're associating that past memory with the present now, which is what is causing you to constantly do the same activity, because you think that same activity is going to give you the same result. Good on you. You were trying to help others, but always kind of hurts when someone corrects you. Yes, it did. And I looked at it and I was able to recognize that and be like, okay, but why am I hurt? Because I took it personally. I have no problems in saying it. I took it personally. I was like, oh my God, this is a personal attack. I'm so sorry. And I just said, no, I don't need to give it my personal power. This wasn't a personal attack. They're simply enforcing the rules. That's it. They thought they were doing the right thing. I thought I was doing the right thing. And that was it. And that's what we have to, remember, is that beauty right there is, don't take things personally. That's one thing that I have learned. There have been times when, when I did Periscope, when I did Periscope, there were people calling me, because of my voice, they called me a yappy dog. Then because of what I, talk about, then I was a Satanist. Then I was the Antichrist. I was a witch. I was the devil. I mean, I've been called many different things. And, water off a duck's back. I don't need to take it personal. At first, oh God, did I? Oh God, yes I did. I took every comment that someone said so like, oh God. Oh, no worries, Marilyn. Love you. And so, yeah, I used to take it all personally. Now I'm like, that's your opinion. That's, and I look at it from, okay, this is something I used to believe. Because otherwise, why would it be coming up? If I didn't believe it, if I didn't believe that, I don't know, that my voice was too high, then why would someone be coming on and saying, your voice is too high? Why would that come on and why would that hurt me? Well, because somehow, in some way, I take that personally. Why do I need to take it personally? I don't. I forgive myself. And that's all it is. It's just forgiving that thought and being willing to forgive that thought. See, and this is what I love about letting spirit guide things, because we have gone from the fear of peace into, of course, forgiveness. And that's just how it works. I say, Spirit, this is what I'd like to talk about. And then if other topics come up that Spirit feels that we need to go into, then that's what we go into. And that's what I love about doing these spiritual discussions, because they can transform so many different things. They can transform perceptions. They can transform beliefs. And it's just a matter of, because you all are interacting. You all are making this discussion happen with your interaction. And that's why I love to have them. And, that's why I put them on. That's why I do them. So I think that we have talked about a lot of different things. And I would just like to open it up to questions, comments, or concerns about our topic. Once again, I want to reiterate that. Questions, comments, or concerns about our topic. Because sometimes, we tend to get off topic, or we tend to try to ask other questions. So we're just staying on this topic about the fear of peace, the fear of looking within. So that's where I want to go. If there's any questions, anything that has come up for you that we have talked about that has just made you question, maybe you have a question about it, then ask the question. I don't believe in stupid questions. I believe that every question is valid in whatever way, shape, or form, because you're asking it. So it means it's something that's on your heart, something that's on your mind, and I want to do my very best to clarify it to the best of my abilities. So I will leave, I'm going to get a quick drink of water here, And I will see if there's any questions or comments. And thank you so much for saying that you think my voice is cute. Thank you so much. So just seeing if there's any questions, comments, or concerns about this. If not, totally fine. Just give me a little thumbs up in the comments or let me know that you don't have any questions. And if you don't, like I said, that's fine. And if you do, then that's also fine too. So I will definitely be digging deeper to see where the shame is coming from. I have carried it long enough. I want everyone, please, 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 let us give our beautiful friend here a round of applause. Because that is the most beautiful thing that you could have ever said. And it wasn't even that you said you're going to dig deeper. The most beautiful thing that you said is, I have carried it around long enough. So thank you. Thank you. You have, and you can be free of it. Thank you. So I want everyone, give her hearts, give her claps, give her encouragement. I think that's the best thing that we can do right now, because she just said that is just so beautiful to me, that she's ready to let it go because she's carried it around long enough. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Any other questions, any other comments, any other concerns that are coming up for you about our current topic about the fear of peace? Oh, well, we think you are wonderful as well. And we thank you so much for doing this beautiful work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you already know, each time you delve into healing yourself or letting go of shame, guilt, or blame, you're doing it for the whole of humanity. Beautiful. So I'm just seeing if there's any other questions, any other comments, any other concerns about this. If not, then we will be signing off. Let's see. Just jumped on what part about the fear of going in. How do you release an unhealthy belief that's very stubborn and doesn't want to come out? I need help with that. Okay. So, Kelly, what we are talking about, so it's the fear of going in. The fear of going in is just the fear of believing that it's too dark, it's too dank, I can't look at it because if I do, then I'm going to get stuck. You're not going to get stuck anywhere. You can't get stuck. The only way that you can get stuck is if instead of looking at it as an observer, you look at it as the experiencer. That's the only way you get stuck. We need to be willing to take that step back and look at it from that observer perspective. Then when it comes to the belief, so number one, you have to realize one thing. You're already making the belief harder to come out because of how you are labeling it. And what do I mean by that? So you've already said that it's a stubborn and it doesn't want to come out. So now what you have already told your mind is that this is stuck in you and it's not going to come out easy. Why does it have to be that way? Just because, totally understandable, your experience up to this point has told you, well, this is really hard. It's not coming out. However, what we can do is instead switch that around and say, you know what? Instead of, oh man, this belief is so hard. Oh, I can't get rid of it. It doesn't want to come out. Let's instead say this belief, let's see, how can we put this in a more positive way that's believable? Because that's what we really have to get to. What's believable? What do you believe? So I want to put it in terms in which you can believe in. So maybe we can say this belief is like a feather in my mind. I just have to blow it out. Or it's like a candle in my mind. I just have to blow it out. But that's where we want to get to with that belief, not believing that it's impossible. And once again, like I said, looking at that belief and really looking at what is the underlying cause behind it. Because the reason that you haven't got to the underlying cause, or the reason that the belief hasn't come out yet, is because you haven't got to the underlying cause of the belief. And that's what we have to really get to, is why is this belief here? So maybe right now what you can do is look at your thoughts about this belief and then see, okay, well, these are my thoughts about the belief. So what is it actually telling me? You know, maybe it's telling you, you know, whatever that may be. Right now you have what you think is the core, but that's not the core. You got to get a little bit deeper because there's more there that you have to look at. My supper is ready to come out of the oven and I need to go. I appreciate that I found you speaking live. Well, I appreciate that you were able to catch me live and that you are going to go do your beautiful work. Thank you for doing that. So let's see. We had another question. Well, you go feed them, my dear. Go and feed them. Let's see. We had one more. Oh, hold on. I think it's, yeah, hold on. It booted me out real quick. I don't know why it did that, but it did. So hold on just a second as I scroll back down. Okay. So let's see. Okay. I thought we had another question. Maybe we didn't. Maybe I just thought I saw a question. You are very welcome. It is my pleasure. So I think we all really want peace. Oh, Deanne, more than anything, we want it, but we're afraid to keep it. We're afraid to continue to be in that peace because we're afraid that it'll be boring and that, you know, we just have to sit and be perfect and that, you know, there's nothing. That's actually what the fear of heaven is. If you really think about it, the fear of heaven is that everything's perfect, nothing changes, and there's no drama, so I'm going to be bored. My darlings, here is what I am here to tell you. That is the biggest lie we have told ourselves. You are going to be so much in the moment, and there is going to be so much love that you are not going to be thinking about anything else. You are going to be so enraptured in the moment, so surrounded by love, joy, and bliss that is 1 billion, trillion, cajillion times more glorious than anything you felt here. So do not think that heaven or peace is just boring simplicity, you know, that's it. No, it is joyous and it is beautiful. Oh, that was a good one. Thank you, Deanne, for bringing that up. Just bringing up that point again, because it can't be made enough. So any other questions, any other comments, any other concerns about our current topic? This has been such a beautiful discussion, and I'm so excited that here in a couple minutes, I get to go and go to my ACIM support group and talk about our lesson for today. Oh, sorry, Diane. I'm not doing any readings. This is just a spiritual discussion. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being here. For those of you that join me on my ACIM support group, which is free to join, and we're learning about A Course in Miracles, or we're learning through the Course in Miracles, I should say, then I will be live at our normal time at 8 o'clock. Can't wait to chat with you there. Bye for now.